Hello my lovely friends, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to be making a redonkulously simple envelope, but a giant envelope. In my spring and summer journal I put 2 of these, and Sharon had asked me in the comment section if I would show her how I did these. So yes, of course. I took this gorgeous paper from scrapbook.com. It's quite thick and really nice cardstock, and then that's in the first signature, and then in the second signature I did this one. And I think they're really fun. I think it's a great way to use two-way paper, or double-sided paper, two-way paper. And so you get to see both the beautiful sides. I mean, that's always Sophie's choice of paper, right? You buy this scrapbook paper and you're like, oh, which one do I like better? Do I use this side? Do I use the other side? I mean, these are some of the really hard decisions we have to make in life. So I have 2 pages here of stuff that I've had forever, Cartabella paper, so I'm going to use these to demonstrate. Now, you don't have to use scrapbook paper, like the heavy stuff. You could use regular paper as well. It's just that I find that the double-sided paper, this is just fun because the one side has a pattern on it, and you want to see that. So anyways, before we get started, I just wanted to say a very quick thank you to everybody who left me a really lovely comment, and your kind words and support after my last video was beyond appreciated. I really did appreciate it. You gave me warm fuzzies, and you made me feel really good in the sense that I was making the right decision by just sort of tossing, all the experts aside and just doing what feels right. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for that. It means more than I can ever put into words. And you've really put a little kick in my step. So I'm excited to make more videos for you all going forward. Okay, that's it. Without any further ado, let's get into making the fun envelope for your journal. Okie dokie, everybody. Now, good news, bad news. The good news is that I have the envelopes. The bad news is that the first one I did, I don't know what I did wrong, but I did something wrong. And the other thing is, I made this whole video with you guys last night showing you everything, and I had my new fancy microphone on, and it didn't record the sound. So here we are. I'm going to do this video again. So here's the finished one that you didn't get to watch me do, but we're going to do one just as lovely today. Now, the one thing that I wanted to mention was that when I did these for this journal, I didn't have any preconceived notions about size or shape, other than the fact that I wanted it to fit in this journal and be the entire length. So this is 9 1/8. And then they're 5 inches wide. And it's the same with the other one at the back here on this side. Right? So when I was doing this for my journal, I didn't have a pattern. I was just folding things and kind of making them up as I went along, as you tend to do when you're just, in your own little world, crafting. So I made this thinking that I knew what I was doing, and I was just folding, and I was kind of measuring, and I was like, oh, it's not quite 10, but it doesn't really matter. And it doesn't really matter that it's crooked, but this line here, when I cut it, was really off. And so it made me think, okay, I better redo this and find out exactly where I went wrong. So what I ended up doing was I made a pattern, so to speak, and I thought what I would do is I'm going to leave it here like this, And then that way you can take a screenshot of it and have it if you decide you want to go ahead and do this. It's super easy. We're basically just going to measure a few times, and then we're just going to fold, and that's it, and glue. That's it. It's super easy, as envelopes tend to be, right? Which is why we like them. So what I thought I'm going to do is I'm going to take this very lightweight paper, and we're going to make one out of this, and then we'll take, I have yet another piece of this heavier cardstock scrapbook paper, and we'll do one out of those, just so you can quickly see the difference. It doesn't take very long at all. So the first thing you're going to do with your 12 by 12 paper is you're going to fold it in half, and as you will notice, they don't quite line up, which isn't the end of the world. But I have to admit, I made a whole bunch of these yesterday, and every single one of these pages that I folded didn't line up. So that was something that just made me go, huh, maybe this is why on one level this didn't turn out the way I thought it should, but who knows. Okay, now the first thing we want to do, from the bottom, we're going to draw a line that's 10.5 inches long. And this is going to be our first fold line here. Then we're going to go up, and we're just going to make a little measurement of 5 inches here. This is just sort of a reference point. Then we're going to measure down 7 inches on each side. We're going to draw the line across, and then we're going to draw lines up, and then that's going to give us our lines to fold in. For me, I didn't need... I'm obviously, because I want these to be the height of the journal, I didn't create a flap. I didn't fold there. The one thing to note, that the way that I've got this measured out, if you decide for whatever reason, you were going to fold this over, this doesn't quite cover here. Just so you know. This is intended really, let's just say the flap part up here is just for show. It's not meant to be functional. It's just for looking pretty, right? Because the way that the measurements go, this side of the paper would have to come in a little bit further, so you had room to tape or glue or something, and that's just not going to happen here. I'm not that fancy. Right? Okay, so we've got our center. Now, and the reason why I folded it as opposed to drawing it out or with the ruler, if you're going to stick this in the signature, you're going to have a fold line there anyways. So that part doesn't matter. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the bottom. And like I said, you want to draw a line that's 10.5. So here's our center point. So basically it's 5 1/4 and 5 1/4, because I can do that kind of math in my head. I'm smart that way. But if it gets any more complicated than that, my goose is cooked. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, so here, just so we know, this is the bottom. Now, like I said, we're going to go here, and I'm just going to make a tiny little dot, because this is going to help tell me when we measure across here, if we're on point. Okay, now, again, this is the top. So now we're going to measure 7 inches down here. Just make a little mark. And 7 inches down here. And then let's just have a look-see. Yep, perfect. So if you were to draw a line, you're going to match up with that 5-inch mark. So this is just sort of like a little reference point to make sure that we are on line. Okay, so you got your 7 inches here, and we got 7 inches here. Now we're going to come back down to the bottom, and now we want to draw a line. We're going to measure across what's going to be on the fold line, but we only want to do 5 inches and 5 inches, so that you can see there's a little gap here and a little gap here. Okay, we're going to fold that in, and that's going to help us get everything lined up nicely. So here on this line, which is the first line that we drew. We've got 5 inches here and then 5 inches here. Then the next step is to draw or connect these 2 points. So now we're going to connect the point where we measured down to the 7 inches, and then we're going to draw this here to the 5 inches. And then we'll do the same on this side here. See? Super, super duper easy and fast. So what I was doing was I was just taking my ruler and I'm just going to fold that up like this to create our bottom flap here. Then I'm going to go in and we're going to do the sides. You're going to be like, Lisa, you were right. That's super duper, super uber easy. And then we're going to fold this one here. And then we're just going to take this up just like that. And voila. En français, my friends. And we have our envelope. So where I think I got into trouble with this one, so you can see here a little bit better. You can see where it sort of folds in on itself here and also in this corner. By doing that, it creates, basically, it gives us the space to glue down here and this bottom part overlapping on the side flaps. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It was late. I was hungry. I don't know what to say. Okay, so now I'm going to draw across here. Okay, to straighten that out. Where are my scissors? Okay. Again, that's it. That's it. Bob's your uncle. Bob is your uncle. There we have it. So now we're just going to take a little bit of the glitter glue, the art glitter glue, and a little dab will do you there. And a little dab will do you there, because this is really just a prototype. Although I'll probably use this for something. So as you can see, works great with just regular scrapbook paper. Now, let's quickly do it with the cardstock, because I also wanted to do it, the first one where it's just plain white in it, so that's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. So now let's do it with the cardstock. So the question is, the boats are the repeat pattern, and I don't want the boats to be upside down. So this is going to be the inside. Okay, so once again, oops, let's fold it in half. You probably could, you don't have to fold it in half right at the start. If for whatever reason you don't want to. If you're a rebel and you like to do things in your own way and you're like, I just don't want to fold that right. Well then, knock yourself out. Don't fold it till later. Okay. Every time I hear I'm a rebel, I think of Pee Wee Herman. I'm a rebel, Dottie. Okay. 10.5. Almost, almost, almost. There we go. Oop, down. There we go. 10.5. Then we're going to come back up to the top, and we're just going to make this tiny little mark here at 5 inches. Okay, then here, once again, 7. And here, 7. And then let's just double check, measure twice, cut once, as they say. Yep, there's our little tick at 5 inches, so we're golden. This is going to work out great. So then we're going to come back down here. Actually, let's fold this up here. Okay, and then the middle there. So we're going to do 5 inches. Now, where's my, I should mark, this is the center. I'm having a little trouble seeing that there. Five there, and 5 there. Then we're gonna, here's our 7 here. Connect there. Here's our 7-inch mark here. Connect here. Let's fold this. And then here. I'm going to be making a lot of these. I have to tell you. Not only do I think that they're fun, and they're easy, and they're fast, but I like the idea of using these for like quite large tuck spots and pockets. You could get it, if you were somebody like me who gets Happy Mail and you have postcards and things, you could easily tuck them in there. Okay, there you are, everybody. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Easy peasy across there. You know what I am going to try? I got these craft scissors. I was talking about these with a friend of mine the other day. I have a set of these and I don't really use them. In fact, I may have given them to the Goodwill. But these Fiskars Ripple ones, I quite like this one because it looks like a bit of a cross between a postage stamp edge and a tear. Now, if I... And the other thing is, if you open, at least mine, if I open them too wide, I can't shut them. It's kind of strange. So I just have to tuck that back in there. They're not great, meaning they're a bit finicky, but I do still like working with them. I like the edge that they give. There, let's see. Oh, there we go. This is the deluxe edition of the envelope with the scalloped edge. It's a little bit crooked, but that's all right. That's all right. Or a little bit uneven. Well, who's not, right? Who's not a little bit uneven every once in a while? Okay. Do there. And there. So I will say that I find this equally wonderful with both the heavy Cartabella paper, which is what this is, and the lightweight paper. You know, of course, the only difference really is how much bulk it's going to add to your journal. So depending on what you're working on and how you're doing it, you know, the thickness of the paper might be the deciding factor for you. So yeah, there you have it. So there, again, that's that one, and that's that one, and the one that you didn't get to see me make with the pies is that one. Now, I got to thinking last night, after I made the envelopes that I didn't get to show you because my microphone wasn't on, I thought, what if we did a bit of a collage? And so I very quickly did this really rudimentary envelope, and I thought to myself, now, wait a minute. if you didn't have scrapbook paper that you wanted to use, why couldn't you just create a patchwork with scraps? I don't know. I always say, is it a collage? I don't know. But anyways, what I'm going to do here is I've got this piece of scrapbook paper. I've put the lines on it so I can see where things have to be folded. So I'm going to be a little bit mindful of where I'm overlapping papers so I don't create a lot of bulk, if that makes sense. So I've got this green pattern on the end. That's going to be the inside of the envelope. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my glue stick. Now I know that glue sticks can make things curl up sometimes, but for the sake of just moving things along and being a little bit faster, I'm going to use the glue stick, and I'm just going to start collaging over top of this, and this, obviously this white, and I'm going to speed up the camera so you can see part of the process, but we're not going to be here forever watching me glue paper onto other paper. And of course, I get my head in there. Yeah, it's not a video from Lisa until you see the top of my head. But anyways, I'm just talking here that I'm going to be mindful of where the layers go. And I don't want to have, I'm not sure how to say it. I want when I fold that I'm not going to have the paper potentially lift up because I haven't given it enough room to fold over, if that makes sense. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to speed things up, and then, when it's all done, we're going to do the exact same process and see what we get. I have to say, it's not curling as much as I thought it might do. Sometimes with the glue stick, it really does like to have a mind of its own. But I think this is going to be all right. Yeah, I like it. Okay, let's quickly turn this into an envelope and see what we get. So the first thing we're going to do is fold it in half. So yeah, so I tried to be mindful of where the papers overlapped so that there wouldn't be the temptation. Like if I had this right here, it might want to pull over, like I said before. Where's my bone folder here? So yeah, I think this is fun because it's such another easy, great way to use up scraps. Because, oh boy, we all got a ton of scraps, don't we? Okay, so 10.5 here for the bottom. I mean, I suppose at this point, if you wanted to be super efficient, then we can mark our 5 inches and our 5 inches here to draw up. And then I'm going to take this now. You know, the other thing I thought about too was that if you were using, for whatever reason, the back of the paper was blank, you could paint it. Which I know sounds a little crazy. But you know I'm going to try. Okay, so here's a little bit here. So maybe what I'll do is we'll add a teeny tiny bit of glitter glue here. Come on, glitter glue. There we go. And fold that over. That should work. And while we're at it, I'll just do a tiny bit here. And with the nice thing too with doing it this way, if it's not perfect, nobody's gonna know. Okay, so then I like to come up here and do the little, make my mark of 5 inches just to give me a checking in point, so to speak. Okay, so we got 7 inches here from the tippy top point and 7 inches again here. And because we already drew these lines, we're going to, I mean, I suppose you wouldn't even need to necessarily draw the line. You could just fold it. Now make sure, yeah, make sure, yeah, this, for some reason, this one really wants to push the ruler over. Okay, and then connect the dots here at the 5 inch mark and then up to the 7 inch mark there. And then fold that. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. Oh yeah. There you have it. Woo! I really, really like that a lot. Now this old newsprint here, this ripped, but I can live with that. Okay. There we go, there we go. So I have to say, this, I was not expecting to come up with this. I think this is a really fun happenstance of this envelope. To do it with the scraps. There we go, there we go. I really like it. Okay, now, while I was gluing this together, it did occur to me, again, depending on the size of your journal, it would also be an interesting idea if you didn't want to fold this in half, that you did create a fold line here, and this gets sewn into the signature here. Right? Can you see me? So this part would stick out on the other side of the journal, and this would be an interesting tuck spot on this side of the journal, or obviously you could do it this way. And then if this was sticking out, what I would be tempted to do is sew something on it, kind of like what I've done here, where I sewed this journal card on this page. I would be very tempted to, let me see. Let's say if I had like a planner page, like something like this, I would be tempted to glue this on and stitch it. I think that would look really interesting. Yeah. So 2 in 1. So you could have it folded in the middle like this, or score your line down this way, and this is what you stick into your signature, and then it would be like that. Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, that was fun. That was more of that was a little more fun than I expected to have, I have to admit. So I hope you thought that was fun. I hope that you thought that was interesting, and that you will go ahead and do this for yourself, whether it is on, like I said, the thinner paper or the heavier cardstock. They all work like a gem, for sure. And then here, once again, is the image. So if you didn't want to fold it down the middle, of course, you would just score across here at the top, and then that would be your fold line there. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this here just in case, again, you need to take a screenshot. And if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comment section down below. I'm always happy to help you out, and you guys know how much I love hearing from you. So please do let me know what you think. And I'm going to leave it there. If you like this video, please give it a little thumbs up. It certainly does help the algorithm, and it helps me, and it helps you a little bit too. And as I say at the end of every video, speak kindly to yourselves, and I will do the same. Lately, I have not been. I will make a bigger point of speaking kindly to myself. Enjoy your journal process. Thanks, everybody, for spending your time with me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Lucy, would you like to say hello to everybody? Yeah, they want to know how you're doing. You say I had a great day sleeping on the porch in the sunshine yesterday or today. Yes, I did. And now I'm going to have more of a nap. And my donut right there. Okay, thanks for coming. We'll see you later.